machine guns for use by the commander and loader, and another mounted coaxially with the main gun. A 60mm mortar is also fitted for firing smoke rounds or suppressing dug-in infantry anti-tank teams. All Merkava tanks are fitted with a remote-controlled M2 Browning .50 caliber heavy machine gun, aligned with the main gun and controlled from within the turret. Mobility, edit. The tank's 1,119 kilowatts turbocharged diesel engine was designed by MTU and is manufactured under license by L3 Communication Combat Propulsion Systems, formerly General Dynamics. Variants, edit. Merkava Mark I, edit. The Mark I, operational since 1979, is the original design created as a result of Israel TAL's decision, and was fabricated and designed for mass production. The Mark I weighed 63 tons and had a 908 horsepower, 677 kilowatts, diesel engine, with a power-to-weight ratio of 14 HP/ton. It was armed with the 105mm M64L71A main gun, a licensed copy of the American M68, two 7.62mm machine guns for anti-infantry defense, and a 60mm mortar mounted externally, with the mortar operator not completely protected by the tank's hull. The general design borrows the tracks and road wheels from the British Centurion tank, which had seen extensive use during the Yom Kippur War. The Merkava was first used in combat during the 1982 Lebanon War, where Israel deployed 180 units. Although they were a success, the M113 APCs that accompanied them were found to have several defects and were withdrawn. Merkavas were converted into makeshift APCs or armored ambulances by taking out the pallet ammunition racks in storage. 10 soldiers or walking wounded could enter and exit through the rear door. After the war, many adjustments and additions were noted and designed, including the need for the 60mm mortar to be installed within the hull and engineered for remote firing, a valuable feature that the Israelis had initially encountered on their Centurion Mk3s with their 2 Mk.3 mortar. A shot trap was found beneath the rear of the turret bustle, where a well-placed shot could jam the turret completely. The installation of chain netting to disperse and destroy rocket-propelled grenades and anti-tank rockets before impacting the primary armor increased survivability. Merkava Mark II, edit. The Mark II was first introduced into general service in April 1983. It incorporated numerous small adjustments as a result of the previous year's incursion into Lebanon. The Mark II used the same 105mm main gun and 7.62mm machine guns as the Mark I, but the 60mm mortar was redesigned during construction to be located within the hull and configured for remote firing to remove the need to expose the operator to enemy small arms fire. An Israeli-designed automatic transmission and increased fuel storage for increased range was installed on all further Mark IIs. Anti-rocket netting was fitted for increased survivability against infantry equipped with anti-tank rockets. Many minor improvements were made to the fire control system. Updated meteorological sensors, crosswind analyzers, and thermographic optics and image intensifiers gave greater visibility and battlefield awareness. Newer versions of the original Mark II were designated. 1 Mark IIB, with thermal optics and unspecified updates to the fire control system. 2 Mark IIC, with more armor on the top of the turret to improve protection against attack from the air. 3 Mark IID, with modular composite armor on the chassis and turret, allowing rapid replacement of damaged armor. In 2015 the IDF had begun a plan to take the old models out of storage and repurpose them as heavy armored personnel carriers. Cannons, turrets, and spaces used to store tank shells inside the hull were removed to create a personnel carrier that outperforms the lighter M113 APC. Converting hundreds of Mark II chassis provides a low-cost way to upgrade support units' abilities to perform medical, logistical, and rescue missions. By late 2016, the last conscripted brigade to operate Merkava 2 was scheduled to transition to Merkava 3 and Merkava 4 tanks for battlefield missions, relegating the vehicles to reserve forces for border patrols during conflicts and conversion to personnel carriers. Merkava Mark III, edit. The Merkava Mark III was introduced in December 1989 and was in production until 2003. As of 2016, the Merkava III was the most numerous tank in frontline IDF service. Compared to the Merkava II, it has upgrades to the drivetrain, powertrain, armament, and electronic systems. The most prominent addition was the incorporation of the locally developed IMI 120mm gun. This gun and a larger 1,200 horsepower, 890 kilowatts, diesel engine raised the total weight of the tank to 65 tons, 143,000 pounds, but the larger engine raised the maximum cruising speed to 60 kilometers per hour, 37 miles per hour. The turret was re-engineered for movement independent of the tank chassis, allowing it to track a target regardless of the tank's movement. Many other changes were made, including one external two-way telephone for secure communications between the tank crew and dismounted infantry. 2 upgraded ammunition storage containers to minimize ammunition cook-off. 3 addition of laser designators. 4 incorporation of the CASAG modular armor system, designed for rapid replacement and repair in the battlefield and for quick upgrading as new designs and sophisticated materials become available. BAS system, edit. The 1995 Mark III BAS, Hebrew acronym for Barak Zohar, signifying shining lightning, had several updates and added systems including 1 NBC protection systems, 2 locally developed central air conditioning system, 3 added improvements in ballistic protection. 4 The Mark IIID has removable modular composite armor on the chassis and turret. Door delay, edit. The last generation of the Mark III class was the Mark IIID door delay, Hebrew, 4th generation, which included several components as prototypes to be introduced in the Mark IV. 1 upgraded and strengthened tracks, built by Caterpillar, designed in Israel. 2 installation of the Raphael overhead weapon station. 3 independent, fully stabilized, panoramic commander's sights allowing hunter-killer ability. 4 advanced thermal imagers for both gunner and commander. Merkava Mark IV, edit. The Merkava Mark IV began development in 1999, and production in 2004. The upgrade's development was announced in an October 1999 edition of the military publication Barmacan, at the camp. However, the Merkava Mark III remained in production until 2003. The first Merkava force were in production in limited numbers by the end of 2004. Removable modular armor, from the Merkava Mark IIID, is used on all sides, including the top and a V-shaped belly armor pack for the underside. This modular system is designed to allow damaged tanks to be rapidly repaired and returned to the field. Because rear armor is thinner, chains with iron balls are attached to detonate projectiles before they hit the main armored hull. The Merkava Mark IV in its first public show at Yad Lashiron during Israeli Independence Day celebrations in 2002. It is the first contemporary tank without a loader's hatch in the turret roof, because any aperture in the turret roof increases risk of penetration by ATGMs. Tank rounds are stored in individual fireproof canisters, which reduce the chance of cook-offs in a fire inside the tank. The turret is electrically, rather than hydraulically, powered. Hydraulic turrets use flammable liquid that ignites if the turret is penetrated, and dry. No active rounds are stored in it. Some features, such as hull shaping, exterior non-reflective paints, radar cross-section reduction, and shielding for engine heat plumes mixing with outside air, reduced infrared signature, to confuse enemy thermal images, were carried over from the IAI-LAVI program of the Israeli Air Force to make the tank harder to spot and target by heat sensors and radar. The Mark IV includes the larger 120mm main gun of the previous versions, but can fire a wider variety of ammunition, including high-explosive anti-tank, heat, and sabot rounds like the armor-piercing Finstabilis discarding sabot, APFS, kinetic energy penetrator, using an electrical semi-automatic revolving magazine for 10 rounds. It also includes a much larger 12.7mm machine gun for anti-vehicle operations, most commonly used against technicals. The Mark IV has the Israeli-designed saws, tracks, springs, and wheels system, Caterpillar track system, called Mazcom, Hebrew, by troops. This system is designed to reduce track shedding under the harsh basalt rock conditions of Lebanon and the Golan Heights. The model has a new fire control system, the Elop Knight Mark IV. An Amcorum LWS-2 laser warning receiver notifies the crew of threats like laser-guided anti-tank missiles, and the fire control system can launch smoke grenades to obscure the tank from the laser beam. Electromagnetic warning against radar illumination is also installed. The tank carries the Israeli Elbit Systems BMS, Battle Management System, Hebrew, a centralized system that takes data from tracked units and UAVs in theater, displays it on color screens, and distributes it in encrypted form to all other units in a given theater equipped with BMS. The Merkava 4 has been designed for fast repair and replacement of damaged armor, with modular armor that can be easily removed and replaced. It is designed to be cost-effective in production and maintenance. The tank has a high-performance air conditioning system, and can be fitted with a toilet for long-duration missions. Mark IV Male RU-8, Mk4M, Windbreaker, Edit. The Merkava Mark IV-M, Mk4M, Windbreaker is a Merkava Mark IV equipped with the Trophy Active Protection System, APS, designated Male Ruach, Hebrew, Windbreaker or Windcoat. Mass production of Mark IV-M tanks began in 2009, and the first whole brigade of Mark IV-MS was declared operational in 2011. The Trophy APS successfully intercepted rocket-propelled grenades and anti-tank missiles, including 9 M133 Knits, fired by Hammers before and during Operation Protective Edge in 2014. Mark IV Male RU-8 400, Mk4M 400, Windbreaker, Edit. A midlife upgrade for the Mk4M that is somewhat of a bridge between the Mk4M and the Mk4 Barrack. Merkava 4 Barrack, Edit. The Merkava Mark IV Barrack, Lightning, entered service in 2023. The tank has an upgraded Trophy APS, 360-degree day forward/night camera coverage for boosted situational awareness, a fighter jet-style helmet-mounted display for the tank commander, and new sensors enabling it to independently acquire targets and strike them rapidly, as well as having electronic warfare abilities and advanced processing systems, and a direct energy system capable of intercepting drones and cruise missiles. The Merkava Mark IV tank also has enhanced armor on top of the turret, providing more protection to the crew against drone strikes. Iron Vision helmet-mounted display system, Edit. A main feature of the Barrack, Unveiled in July 2018, is the integration of the Iron Vision helmet-mounted augmented reality system, using high-resolution cameras arrayed around the tank to provide a 360 degrees virtual reality view of a tank's surroundings to crew members' helmet displays while protected inside. Israeli company Elbit developed the system for the F-35 fighter aircraft. Specifications of models, edit. Merkava Mark 1, Merkava Mark 2, Merkava Mark 3, Merkava Mark 4. Service history. In active service 1979, 2014, 1983, 2020, 1990, 2004. Used by Israel Defense Forces. Wars 1982 Lebanon War, First Intifada, South Lebanon Conflict, Second Intifada, 2006 Lebanon War, South Lebanon Conflict, First Intifada, Second Intifada, 2006 Lebanon War, Gaza War, South Lebanon Conflict, First Intifada, Second Intifada, 2006 Lebanon War, Gaza War, 2014 Israel-Gaza Conflict, Operation Protective Edge, Israel-Hamas War, 2006 Lebanon War, Gaza War, 2014 Israel-Gaza Conflict, Operation Protective Edge, Israel-Hamas War. Production history. Designer Mantic, Merkava Tank Office. Manufacturer Mantic, Merkava Tank Office. Produced 1979, 83, 1983, 89, 1990, 2002, 2003. Number build 250, 580, 780, 360. Specifications. Weight 61 tons, 62 tons, 63.5 tons, 65 tons. Length 8.30 m. 27 feet 3 in, rear to muzzle. 7.45 m, 24 feet 5 in, without gun. 9.04 m, 29 feet 8 in, rear to muzzle. 7.60 m, 24 feet 11 in, without gun. Width 3.70 m, 12 feet 2 in, without skirts. 3.72 m, 12 feet 2 in, without skirts. Height 2.65 m, 8.7 feet, turret roof 2.66 m, 8.7 feet, turret roof. Crew 4, tank commander, driver, gunner, loader. May carry infantry as passengers. Armor cast and welded steel, in a spaced configuration. Cast and welded steel, in a spaced configuration with add-on composite armor on turret sides. Steel frame with modular composite armor. Primary armament 105 mm, 4.1 in, M64L71. A rifled tank gun 120 mm, 4.7 in, MG251. Smoothbore tank gun 120 mm, 4.7 in, MG251LR. Smoothbore tank gun. Ammunition capacity 53 to 62 rounds, 6 per container. 46 rounds, 5 ready in a mechanical drum. 48 rounds, 10 ready in an electrical drum. Secondary armament 2-3 FN Mag 58. 1 externally mounted 60 mm Salter mortar. 12 smoke grenades launchers 2-3 FN Mag 58. 1 internally mounted 60 mm Salter mortar. 12 smoke grenades launchers. Engine Teledyne Continental AVDS 1790-6 and 908 HP, 677 kilowatts. V12 air-cooled diesel engine. Teledyne Continental AVDS 1790-7 and 950 HP, 708 kilowatts. V12 air-cooled diesel engine. Teledyne Continental AVDS 1790-9 R 1200 HP, 895 kilowatts. V12 air-cooled diesel General Dynamics GD883, MTU883, 1500 HP, 1119 kilowatts, V12 water-cooled diesel. Transmission Allison CD850-6BX, 2 FWD, 1 Rev, Rencar K304, 4 FWD, 4 Rev, Rencar K325, 5 FWD, 2 Rev. Acceleration 0-32 km /h15s 13s 10s 10s. Power /weight 14.8 HP /ton 15.3 HP /ton 18.8 HP /ton 23 HP /ton. Suspension type vertical double coil spring, vertical coil spring with rotary coil spring. Total vertical wheel travel 295/380 mm 600 mm. Ground clearance 0.53 m, 1 foot 9 in, 0.45 m, 1 foot 6 in. Fuel capacity 900 liters, 1,100 liters, 1,400 liters. Operational range 400-500 km, 253-10 mi, 500 km, 310 mi. Maximum road speed 46 km per hour, 29 miles per hour, 55 km per hour, 34 miles per hour, 60 km per hour, 37 miles per hour, 64 km per hour, 40 miles per hour. Combat history, edit. The Merkava has participated in the following actions. 1982 Lebanon War, edit. The Merkava was used widely during the 1982 Lebanon War. The tank outperformed contemporary Syrian tanks, mostly T-62s, and its front proved largely immune to the anti-tank weapons of the time, the AT-3 Saga and RPG-7, that were used against it. It was judged to be a significant improvement over Israel's formerly most effective main battle tank, the Centurion. Israel lost dozens of tanks during the conflict, including several Merkavas. Second Intifada, edit. In February 2002, a Merkava 3 was destroyed by a roadside bomb near Netzarim in the Gaza Strip. The tank was lured into intervening in an attack on a settler convoy. The tank went over a heavy mine, estimated 100 kilograms TNT, which detonated and totally destroyed the tank. 4 soldiers were killed in the blast. This was the first main battle tank to be destroyed during the Second Intifada. A second Merkava 2 or Merkava 3 was destroyed a month later in the same area, and a further 3 soldiers were killed. A third Merkava 2 or 3 tank was destroyed near the Kishufim crossing, when 1 soldier was killed and 2 wounded. 2006 Lebanon War, edit. During the 2006 Lebanon War, 5 Merkava tanks were destroyed. Most of the tanks engaged were Merkava 3s and earlier versions. Only a few of the tanks used during the war were Merkava Mark IV, since by 2006 they had entered service in limited numbers. Hezbollah fired over 1,000 anti-tank missiles during the conflict against both tanks and dismounted infantry. Some 45% of all tanks and armored vehicles hit with anti-tank guided missiles, ATGMs, during the conflict suffered some form of armor penetration. In total, 15 tank crewmen were killed by these ATGM penetrations. The penetrations were caused by tandem warhead missiles. Hezbollah weaponry was believed to include Russian RPG-29 Vampir, at 5 Konkurs, at 13 Metis M, and laser-guided at 14 Kinect heat missiles. The RPG-29 was able to defeat the advanced reactive armor on the Merkava 4. The IDF reported finding Kinect ATGMs on Hezbollah positions in the village of Gundarieh. Several months after the ceasefire, reports have provided detailed photographic evidence that Qanat ATGMs were indeed both possessed and used by Hezbollah in this area. Another Merkava 4 tank crewman was killed when a tank ran over an improvised explosive device, IED. This tank had additional V-shaped underside armor, limiting casualties to just one of the 7 personnel, 4 crewmen and 3 infantrymen, on board. In total, 5 Merkava tanks, 2 Merkava IIS, 1 Merkava 3, and 2 Merkava Force, were destroyed. Of these 2 Merkava Mark IV, one was damaged by an IED, and the other being destroyed by a Russian At-14 Qanat missile. The Israeli military said that it was satisfied with the Merkava Mark IV's performance, and attributed problems to insufficient training before the war. In total, 50 Merkava tanks, predominantly Merkava IIS and 3s, were hit, 8 of which remained serviceable on the battlefield. 21 tanks suffered armor penetrations, 15 from missiles, and 6 from IEDs and anti-tank mines. After the 2006 war, and as the IDF becomes increasingly involved in unconventional and guerrilla warfare, some analysts say the Merkava is too vulnerable to advanced anti-tank missiles, that in their man-portable types can be fielded by guerrilla warfare opponents. Other post-war analysts, including David Eshel, disagree, arguing that reports of losses to Merkavas were overstated and that summing up the performance of Merkava tanks, especially the latest version Merkava Mark IV, most tank crews agree that, in spite of the losses sustained and some major flaws in tactical conduct, the tank proved its mettle in its first high-saturation combat. On a comparison done by the Armor Corps newsletter, it was shown that the average number of crewmen killed per tank penetrated by missile forward/rocket was reduced from 2 during the Yom Kippur War to 1.5 during the 1982 Lebanon War to 1 during the 2006 Lebanon War, proving how, even in the face of the improvement in anti-tank weaponry, the Merkava series tanks provide increasingly better protection to its crew. The IDF wanted to increase orders of new Merkava Mark IV tanks, and planned to add the Trophy Active Defense System to Merkava Mark IV tanks, and to increase joint training between crews and Israeli anti-tank soldiers. Operation Cast Lead, edit. Main article, Operation Cast Lead. The Merkava Mark IV was used more extensively during the Gaza War, as it had been received by the IDF in increasing numbers since 2006, replacing more of the Merkava 2 and 3 versions of the tank that were in service. One brigade of Merkava force managed to bisect the Gaza Strip in 5 hours without Israeli casualties. The commander of the brigade stated that battlefield tactics had been greatly revised since 2006. Tactics had also been modified to focus on asymmetric or guerrilla war threats, in addition to the conventional war scenarios that the Merkava had mainly been designed to combat. The IDF also deployed the Merkava 2 and 3 during the war. Gaza border areas, edit. By October 2010, the IDF had begun to equip the first Merkava Mark Force with the Trophy Active Protection System, to improve the tank's protection against advanced anti-tank missiles which use tandem charge heat warheads. Added protection systems included an Elbit laser warning system and IMI inbuilt smoke screen grenades. In December 2010, Hamas fired an At-14 Qanat anti-tank missile at a Merkava Mark III tank stationed on the Israel-Gaza border near Al-Bureij. Before then, it was not suspected that Hamas possessed such an advanced missile. The missile penetrated the tank's armor, but caused no injuries among its crew. As a result of the attack, Israel decided to deploy its first Merkava Mark IV battalion equipped with the trophy system along the Gaza border. On the 1st of March 2011, a Merkava Mark IV stationed near the Gaza border, equipped with the Trophy Active Protection System, successfully foiled a missile attack against it, marking the system's first operational success. Operation Protective Edge 2014, edit. Main article, Operation Protective Edge. No tanks were damaged during Operation Protective Edge. The Merkava Mk4M tanks, fitted with the Trophy Active Protection System, intercepted anti-tank missiles and RPGs on dozens of different occasions during the ground operation. During the operation, the system intercepted anti-tank weapons, mostly Kinet, and some